Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage we're seeing if we can do a budget washer jet change on a 96 XK8. Some of you will have seen a video I did probably 2 years ago now that was all about the washer jets on the XK8. They're quite unusual, not unique, but quite unusual in that they are arm mounted and rather than having solid jets, actually had these little rubber, they're called duck's beaks. But yeah, they're quite unusual. And where obviously wherever the arm moves, they spray. So they're very efficient, very effective. And they spray from 4 jets. Some of these rubber bills, a couple of conventional ones. And I actually repaired one of the duck's bills using some super glue. Anyway, they need a bit of repair work again. And I decided to bite the bullet and go for a swap. And what I discovered, it wasn't really discovered, I suspected it, and many of you will find, is if you want brand new ones of these, you're going to struggle to find them. You can pay up to £50 each for them because they are starting to fall into short supply and may actually start to creep into our list of rare parts for XK8s. Well, I quite like originality, but I'm no slave to it. I wasn't going to pay £50 for a washer jet. So what I've decided to do is go for an aftermarket pattern part, which doesn't look the same as this, but does have the same function, is made for this car, and try them out on all our behalves. The one I've gone for is from a company called Wipex. They cost me £17 a pair, which might be worryingly cheap, if I'm honest. But they are quite similar in the pictures to those fitted to the later models, like the XJ6 or X358 that I've got outside. So maybe they're going to be just fine. Let's find out. I've genuinely not opened these. I thought we'd discover them together. And if they turn out to be of use, and I'll put a link to where I got these from below. If not, if they're junk, then I shan't bother. But yeah, this is the company Wipex. It's a UK company, 3 Warwick Court, Abbey Road, Malvern, Warwickshire, or Worcestershire actually, sorry. So let's see how they come out. I got them through UK eBay, but you could have gone direct. So let's get in here and see what we've got. Okay, simple as that. Nothing else in there. Now I did anticipate this. They are significantly smaller than the originals, but they do carry 4 jets each, but they don't have the rubber duck's bills. The reason that Jaguar XK8 had that was quite elegant. It's to help prevent the nozzles blocking in freezing conditions, because the little bit of water that's left at the tip of the nozzle is typically sat in a metal jet, helping it to chill down, and may not be fully concentrated with the solution. So the fact that you've got a rubber tip allows it to basically burp and open and let a little bit of ice out. So yeah, very elegant, but £50? I don't think so. So these are unbranded, rather cheaply finished because you can see the ejection marks from the moulding with plenty of flash or frays, to use your term, excess plastic on them. You can bend that over, I'm doing it gently, it's a cold day, and latch them like so. And the wiper arm goes through there, and it will actually, that will be the top surface, the visible surface. The pipe will be on the underside of the arm. Interesting. I wonder if you can easily move these by hand. Yeah, you can move the jets. They protrude enough that you can get your fingernail on and move them. But normally with washer jets, you put a little pin in and use that to maneuver them. Just makes it easy to get them quite accurately where you want. Very first thing I'm going to do is just cut off the excess plastic, because they're not going on my car looking like that. There's also, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, it's very small, there's a flash on the end of the nozzle, or the back edge of the nozzle here, where the pipe pushes on, which could cause it to leak, so I'll also deal with that. As I've got my pen knife out, I'm just going to use that, and rather than try and cut, because you will cut where you don't want, use a blade to scrape or push. So it's probably easier to explain on the top. If you've got plastic sticking up here, just put the blade flat on top and push, almost roll it off, and it will scrape the surface rather than cut the surface. Okay, I can live with that. Next, we want to get the old washer jets off. So there's a little section here that you've got to flick out. Just get a fine screwdriver, pop it in the gap, and prise this thing open. There we go. Once it's open, you can just open the flap a little and it comes straight off the arm, like so. The pipe is retained with just a piece of triangular section black plastic, and you can pop that off the arm or just open it up and pull the pipe away. Next, we want to get the rubber pipe off the washer jet, which is very easy as long as you know a simple trick. If you've got flexible soft piping, if you pull it, you make it shrink in diameter. So it's just going to clamp harder and harder on this until you probably tear the pipe, because in my case, it's 25 years old. If you push it, then you compress the pipe and it grows, and it is going to let go of the fitting rather than clamping down tightly onto it. So don't pull, push. You can either get your fingers behind. My fat, cold fingers may not do this. Or, as I'm going to have to, just give it a twiddle. Rub the pipe a little bit in your fingers to warm things up. It's only about 5 degrees here in the garage, so not ideal. And then get something with a fork shape in it, such as this, that you can use to push the pipe off with. That's it. As soon as you start pushing and can collapse the end of the pipe a little bit, it will slide off quite easily because it's growing the pipe. There we go. And we're off. Well, I've rigged up for my entertainment and yours a little test rig so we can see the way these things spray. So I've got my oil syringe here set up with a length of hose over a bin in which I've supported on some ramps a piece of white foam, and the gap between the pipe and the white foam roughly equates to where the washer jets are relative to the windscreen. I've drilled out the end of the pipe to be the same size as the rubber pipe bore and secured it there. I've got some water and a little bit of red food dye, which I'm going to drop a couple of drops in there, put it in the syringe, and then spray it out of the original jets so we can see how they work, and then we'll use the new ones. Now obviously the direction of the jets are pointed is just down to adjustment. We might be able to see if it's, you know, falling out the end, spraying out the end, jetting out the end. I don't know, it's just pure interest. Couple of drops. Then I swirl round. Here's my plastic scraper. Let's just draw up some liquid. Problem is it falls back out. I'm going to have my test higher than my syringe. This really appeals to the mad scientist inside me. I mean, I don't even know what I'm hoping to learn, but it's good fun, isn't it? So first we're going to try one of the original jets. Oops. And hopefully what you can see is we have 1, 2 rubber jets, 3 rubber jets, and 1 metal jet there. So quite an unusual arrangement. And it has 1, 2, 3 jets above the wiper and 1 below. Gravity obviously being considered. And now we test one of the new washer jets. So aiming we can't really judge because I could be pointing anywhere, but I've got them all pointing approximately the right directions. Here we go. This is the other washer jet, and the one that's more failing for me. Ooh! Drop it down some more. So I've got 1, 2, 3. The downward going everywhere. So there's all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah, so they're done for. So I think the summary is it's a completely different pattern, but these don't give like a fan effect or anything. The duct bills really are just there to provide some ice protection. These do have a big advantage in there's this downward shooting jet above the blade and 3 above the blade, 1 below, which gravity says is a great idea. But £50 each, £17 a pair. We're definitely trying these. The jets aren't handed on in either the original or these aftermarket ones. There's a little lump here and here on the arm, and it fits between those lumps. So, like so. Looks good. Close over the little latch. Equally good. Rubber hose. There's our first issue. I hadn't quite got it between the lumps and it didn't reach, so that's better. Pushed the pipe on and then took it back into that plastic clip. And I'll just repeat the exercise on this side. I guess my fear with these is because it's a narrower unit, everything will just hit the back of the wiper blade. But as I'm installing them, I don't think that will happen. But that's a possibility. Arm down. Well, that appeared pretty good. Viewed from the inside, the only thing I noticed was on this side, this jet didn't seem to be making as much power as the others, and because of that, just touching the edge of this wiper bow and splattering rather than jetting. So I'm just going to tilt that one up a little bit more, then I'll show you from the inside. Very hard to follow with the camera, but I think that's pretty successful. Be under no illusions, if you want originality at all costs, then there's only one way to go. You've got to save up and buy these. If you can find them at the right price, brilliant. This is far better quality, as in build, and the design is great. Moving these jets further away from the arm allows you a better angle. And the one non-rubber nozzle there that shoots straight down on top of the wiper blade is great. It's like a power wash. So these are superior. End of. However, are they worth spending nearly another £70 on? By the time we got two of these at 17 and two of the others at near 100, I know where I've gone is somewhere I'm quite happy. So in conclusion, if you have damaged washer jets on your XK8, X308 or XJ6, I can confirm that these ones from Wipex do fit and do work. So, pays your money, takes your choice. While I've got you folks, a few other little bits and pieces. A couple of questions that aren't so easily answered without showing you. So we had a question from one of our subscribers about low profile trolley jacks, and I'm pretty sure I understand the question. And that is, they've got a low profile trolley jack, and this pad is obviously the height that's quoted and what I measure when I'm sharing with you the dimensions of these things. But what they were interested in, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is how far under the car can you push this before the jack body is no longer low profile. So I'll just check that out for you. So this is my SGS low profile 3-ton trolley jack. And let's go to the top of the cup, if I can get in a good position. There we go. So the top of the cup is, I'm adding a bit on to be safe, 12 centimetres, or for those of you who have not yet moved over, 4 3/4 inches. So to my mind, the critical dimension is, when does the jack get taller than the pad? And I'll give you two dimensions. From the front of the wheels, you can go under 17 inches. Or from the centre of the pad, which is probably more realistic for limitations in use, if you like. From the centre of the pad, lifting pad, to the point at which it's the same height as the lowest point on the lifting pad, we are at 12.5 inches. So that's 32 centimetres. Critical length that you can push under the vehicle before it loses this low profile effect. Different jacks, even though they say low profile, will have different arrangements. This is pretty good. It's certainly very good for a 3-ton jack. Why have I got a 3-ton jack? Very easy to lift the XK8 at the centre point, both wheels at the same time. By centre point, I don't mean all 4 wheels. I mean a whole axle. But more critical when I bought this was I need to be able to lift the wheels on Ruby, my 3.7-ton motorhome. So that's why I've got a reasonably significant jack. Lift height, and this is just because of another question from the same viewer, and that is 21 inches or 54 centimetres. Okay, so that's that one covered. Next one is, many of you remember I did the headlight saga where we completely refurbished the headlights on the Jag. However, the front half, the reflectors and the glass, is brand new, and they are quite expensive. And that was because my reflectors were quite severely tarnished. The silvering had come off in this heavily shaped moulded area. And we talked about it being vapor deposition, which means if you touch it, it comes off on your finger. It's very, very delicate. So you can't clean it up. Now, at the time, that was my solution. I alluded recently to the fact that I'd found a material that possibly could resilver to a reasonable standard the reflectors, and that would be coming up at some point in the future. Now, some folks are obviously really struggling with reflectors and getting hold of headlamps, and they don't want to wait, if I'm honest. So just as a little early heads up for those of you who are interested, here in my shed is my lamp, and you can see just how bad the reflectors are. And here is the substance I will be using to resilver them. It's a paint with a very jazzy label. I'm not even sure you can see it on camera. It's called Stardust. It's French, special effect paint, go chrome. And this is small, you know, there's my hand. That's 125 millilitres. This has cost me £55 by the time I got it to the UK from France. So that's why I'm not really saying go out and get it. It's a solution. I want to test it on this material before I say this is a good solution. However, people have had great experience coating other items and getting a chrome-like effect. It is not in this form, which is brush on, suitable for abrasion. So if in effect, if this works, it'll be the same as the vapor deposition in here. You can't rub it with a cloth or polish it because you will rub away the chrome effect that this is going to give. Why haven't I got on and done that? It sounds fascinating. You spent 50 quid. Well, my next challenge is, how do you remove the actual glass from the housing so you can get inside and paint it properly? These are bonded on. Lots of BMW headlights of the right era are bonded on, but it's a plastic on plastic arrangement, whereas this is a glass on plastic arrangement. So subtly different. They use heat guns and prizing it off. I'm going to experiment with that a little. I'm also got an idea to use dental floss to cut it off before I try out some other techniques. When I was playing with Volkswagen T25 vans, you often had bad reflectors, and the way to get them off, but it was a glass lens and a metal reflector, was you just put petrol in them, sit it upside down so the petrol sits against the sealant, and the next morning you just take them apart and then reseal them. So it's basically just waiting for me mental juices to come up with a really nice technique for removing the glass, and then we can try out this miracle, if it works, or damned expensive folly if it doesn't, paint. Stardust colours, go chrome. Hope you're all well. See you soon. John out. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.